everyone loves a magic bullet, right?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Oh, completely.
We all secretly, deep down, we want that one lottery ticket, that one viral stock pick, or that one diet pill that just fixes everything overnight.
It's the universal allure, isn't it? The overnight success.
It really is.
It's everywhere. We see the athlete holding the trophy or the entrepreneur ringing the opening bell, and we think, wow, look at that sudden break. Look how lucky they got. Yeah. It triggers that ancient part of our brain that wants maximum reward for minimum effort.
Exactly. It's efficient in a lazy evolutionary sort of way.
Yeah.
Why hunt for a week when you could find a massive carcass right now?
Right.
But today, we are going to completely dismantle that way of thinking. And honestly, it might be a little painful at first. We are, in effect, stripping away the fantasy that a big break is coming to save you. But what we're replacing it with is something actually usable.
Usable, effective, undeniable, but definitely not a shortcut.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into Mastering Momentum, the Compound Effect Strategy by Darren Hardy. And specifically, we're unpacking the insights from the 10th anniversary edition, which has some, updated thoughts on how this all applies in our hyper-distracted modern world.
Now, this book is an absolute beast in the self-improvement world. It's one of those titles you see on every CEO's bookshelf, every high-performance coach's reading list. But I have to admit, when I first picked it up a few years ago, I was skeptical. The central thesis seemed almost too simple. I looked at the table of contents and thought, okay, sure, small steps, consistency, hard work. Tell me something I don't know.
That is the most common reaction. It's what I call the I know this already trap.
The I know this already trap. I like that.
We confuse knowing a concept intellectually with actually, mastering it practically.
It's the difference between knowing how a push-up works and actually doing 100 of them.
Exactly.
But then you start to really unpack this book, which is what we're doing today, and you realize that simple does not mean easy.
Not at all.
And it definitely doesn't mean obvious in practice. The core concept here is that success is almost never the result of a heroic feat. It's not about pulling an all-nighter to save the company or doing a 12-hour workout to get abs in a day.
No. In fact, Hardy argues that those heroic efforts often just lead to burnout, not success.
Okay.
Instead, he posits that success is the result of small, consistent actions, often boring, unsexy, invisible actions done daily, which then compound over months and years to create massive results.
And that, in a nutshell, is the compound effect.
Precisely. And our mission for this deep dive is to really look at how those tiny choices, the ones that seem totally insignificant in the moment.
Yeah, the burger versus the salad.
The burger versus the salad, the sales call versus the scroll, the thank you note versus the text are actually the architects of your destiny. We want to give you, the listener, a practical toolkit to stop relying on bursts of motivation and start building actual momentum.
So let's get into the mechanics of this. We're calling this section the mathematics of small choices. Because this really is a formula, isn't it? It's not magic. It's just math.
It is. The formula Hardy proposes is essentially small, smart choices plus consistency plus time, radical difference.
And the source material uses that analogy of compound interest in finance, which I think most people get, conceptually. You invest money, it earns interest, then the interest earns interest. But let's really stress test this, because our brains are notoriously bad at exponential math.
Oh, we are terrible at it.
We're linear thinkers living in an exponential world.
We are wired for 1 + 1 = 2, but the compound effect is exponential. The classic example Hardy uses, and I love walking through this because it always catches people off guard, is the choice between taking $3 million in cash right now.
Okay.
Or taking a single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days.
Okay, let's play this out. I'm playing the role of the typical human here.
Go for it.
Give me the $3 million. I want the cash. I can invest it. I can buy a house. I can go on vacation. The penny sounds like a trick. I do not want a penny.
Most people say that. And honestly, for the first phase of this experiment, you look like a genius. Let's look at day 5. You have your $3 million sitting in the bank, earning interest. The person who chose the penny, they have 16 cents.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about my choice. I'm laughing at the penny guy. 16 cents doesn't even buy a gumball anymore.
Not even close. Let's fast forward. Day 10. You still have your millions. You're living large. The penny is up to $5.12.
This is a joke. We're a third of the way through the month. I'm retired, and the penny guy can't even afford a fast food value meal.
It looks ridiculous. Let's go to day 20. 2/3 of the month is gone. The penny is now worth $5,242.
Okay.
Now, that's not nothing, but compared to $3 million, it's a rounding error. you are still winning by a landslide.
Oh, big time. I've got the boat, the car, the house. He's got a decent used motorcycle, maybe.
But here is the magic of compounding. This is where the curve shifts. It's the hockey stick. On day 29, just 2 days left in the month, the penny is worth about $2.7 million.
Oh, okay. Suddenly I'm sweating.
On day 30, it hits $5.3 million. You've lost.
Wow.
And on day 31, that single penny is worth over $10.7 million.
That last leap is insane. From 5 million to over 10 million in one day.
That is the compound effect. The results are backloaded. The massive payoff comes at the very end. And this is exactly how it works with lifestyle, relationships, and health. The problem is, with a penny, you can do the math on a spreadsheet and see it happen. With your life, the feedback loop is delayed and often invisible.
This leads us to the concept of the insignificant decision. This was the part of the book that really made me stop and think about my own daily routine.
It's crucial. It explains why smart people make bad choices. Imagine you are at a crossroads. It's Tuesday night, you're tired from work. You can choose to eat a greasy cheeseburger and fries, or you can choose a grilled chicken salad with dressing on the side. In that exact moment, what is the tangible difference in your life?
In the moment. Nothing negative. Actually, the burger probably tastes better.
Yeah.
It gives me that hit of salt and fat and all the good stuff.
Right.
The salad is fine. It's responsible. But I don't feel healthier the second I swallow the lettuce.
Exactly. And if you eat the burger, do you instantly have a heart attack at the table?
No.
Do you instantly gain 10 pounds and rip your pants?
No. I probably feel fine. Maybe a little full, maybe a little sluggish, but basically fine. I wake up the next day and go to work.
And conversely, if you eat the salad, do you instantly become a triathlete? Do your abs pop out before you pay the bill?
Definitely not. I'm just a guy eating lettuce, maybe feeling a little hungry still.
This is the trap. The immediate feedback is neutral. Because there is no immediate consequence, your brain categorizes that choice as insignificant. You skipped the gym today. No big deal. You don't look any different in the mirror tonight. You spent $50 on a gadget you didn't need. You aren't bankrupt tomorrow. The sky didn't fall.
It's the invisibility of the result that kills us. We judge the action by the immediate outcome, not the ultimate trajectory.
Correct. Hardy explains that these choices are setting a trajectory. He describes it as moving your life slightly forward or slightly backward. It's like the nose of an airplane.
Okay.
If you leave Los Angeles bound for New York and you adjust the nose of the plane just 1% off course, south, over 100 yards, you won't notice. You're still basically on the runway.
Right. The passenger's drinking their coffee.
Yeah.
Nobody is panicked.
But over the course of the entire trip, that 1% drift means you miss New York entirely. You end up in Delaware, or maybe you run out of fuel over the Atlantic Ocean.
I love that visualization because it explains why we give up. We're the learner persona, the person listening to this right now. We get excited. We say, I'm going to change my life. We read 10 pages of a book. We go to the gym for a week, and the scale hasn't moved. So we say, this isn't working, and we quit.
We quit because we're looking for a linear result in a compounding equation. We expend effort to equal immediate reward. But in the beginning of a compounding curve, the results are almost flat.
Right.
You are putting in effort and seeing zero return. That is the valley of death, where most ambitions go to die.
The valley of death. That sounds dramatic, but it feels accurate.
It is.
Is that period where you're doing the right thing, but reality hasn't caught up yet. It's the gap between the work and the proof.
It is the gap between the action and the reaction. In the book, there is a great comparison of three friends. I think this really drives it home.
Okay.
Let's call them Larry, Scott, and Brad.
Right.
They all start with similar lives, similar jobs, similar health, similar income. Larry is the baseline. He just keeps doing what he's doing. Status quo, he's happy enough.
Okay, so he's our control group.
Exactly. Scott starts making tiny positive changes, nothing heroic. He reads 10 pages of a good book a day. He cuts 125 calories from his diet. That's like half a candy bar. Tiny. He listens to instructional audio on his commute.
Okay.
Brad starts making tiny negative choices. He buys a big TV and watches it every night. He starts eating a little dessert after dinner. He stops walking in the evenings and has a beer instead.
And let me guess. After 5 months, if you put them in a room together, nothing has happened.
Correct. 5 months in, they look exactly the same. They weigh the same. Their bank accounts look roughly the same. Scott might be a little frustrated because he's suffering through the discipline with no trophy.
Yeah.
Brad is having a great time with his TV and desserts.
10 months in.
Still basically the same. Maybe Scott feels a little clear-headed. Maybe Brad is a little more tired. but it's negligible. But around month 18, slight differences appear. And by month 31, the gap is a chasm.
What does month 31 look like?
Scott is fit. He's down 30 pounds just from that tiny calorie deficit.
Wow.
He's earned a promotion because of the knowledge he gained reading 10 pages a day. That's dozens of books over 3 years. His marriage is thriving because he's been working on himself.
And Brad.
Brad is overweight, he's sleep deprived, he's maybe facing health issues like high blood pressure. His marriage is strained because he's grumpy and checked out in front of the TV.
And Larry is just...
Larry
is just exactly where he was, which, compared to Scott, actually feels like a decline.
And at the outside world, Scott looks lucky and Brad looks unlucky.
Exactly. People look at Scott and say, wow, he really turned it around, must have good genes, must have gotten a lucky break at work. But luck had nothing to do with it. It was the math of small choices.
Okay, so if we accept the math that small things add up to big things, why don't we do it? Why is it so hard to just eat the salad? This leads us to section 2, the 100% responsibility principle.
This is often the hardest pill for people to swallow.
I believe it.
It shifts the conversation from strategy to psychology. It's no longer about calories or pennies. It's about ego and agency. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I read this part and I felt a little defensive. Hardy talks about personal accountability in a way that feels aggressive. It's very no excuses, and my brain immediately started generating excuses.
It is intense because it removes your hiding places. The source material outlines a no list, no blaming circumstances, no excuses, no victim mindset.
But let's play devil's advocate here. What if the economy tanks? What if my boss is legitimately a psychopath?
Sure.
What if it rains on my wedding day? What if I get hit by a car? Hardy is saying, I can't blame those things.
You can acknowledge them as facts. It is a fact that it is raining. It is a fact that the economy is down. It is a fact that you were injured. But you cannot blame them for your long-term outcomes. The argument is about empowerment versus blame. Think about it this way. If you blame the economy for your lack of sales, what are you actually saying?
I guess I'm saying that my success depends on the economy.
Which means you have surrendered your power. You are saying, I am a victim of the market. If you surrender your power to outside forces, you cannot change the outcome. You are just a leaf blowing in the wind.
Right. You're just waiting for the wind to change.
And if the wind doesn't change, you lose.
So taking 100% responsibility isn't about blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong, like, it's my fault it rained. It's about taking ownership of how you respond.
Exactly. It's responsibility, the ability to respond.
Okay, I like that.
You cannot control the tax rate, but you can control the tiny choices you make in response to it. If you say, the economy is bad, so I need to work harder on my skills and make 10 extra calls a day, you have retained agency. If you say, the economy is bad, so I might as well give up, you have lost.
It's the difference between being the driver of the car and being a passenger screaming at the road conditions.
That is a perfect analogy. The passenger has no control. The driver has to navigate the potholes. And this connects back to the small choices we discussed. If you own your choices, you realize that you are not overweight because of your genetics or society or fast food commercials. You are overweight because of hundreds of small decisions to prioritize taste over nutrition.
That stings a bit. It's uncomfortable to admit.
It does. But the flip side is the liberation. Because if you made those choices, you can unmake them.
Right.
If you built the wall, you can take it down. That is the empowering part. You aren't waiting for a savior. You are the savior.
It reminds me of the concept of luck discussed in the book, because people always say, oh, they just got lucky. Hardy actually has a formula for luck, doesn't he?
He does. And I love this because it demystifies the phenomenon. He argues that luck is an equal opportunity employer. We all get lucky breaks and bad breaks.
Okay.
The formula is preparation plus attitude plus opportunity plus action, luck.
Let's break that down. Preparation.
Preparation is the personal growth you do before the opportunity arrives. It's the reading, the learning, the skilling up. If you haven't done that, you won't even notice the opportunity when it walks by. That's your mindset. Are you looking for solutions or are you looking for problems? It's the belief that luck is even possible for you.
Okay. And opportunity.
That's the thing that happens, the chance encounter, the new job opening, the market shift. But here's the kicker, action.
Right. You could be prepared, positive, and staring at a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything,
It's not luck, it's a missed moment.
You make your own luck.
So even luck is something you have a massive degree of responsibility for. You can't control the opportunity, but you control the preparation, the attitude, and the action.
Okay, so we've got the math, small choices add up. We've got the mindset, I'm in the driver's seat. Now let's talk about the engine. How do we keep this car moving? Section 3, habits versus motivation. And I have to say, the source material throws some serious shade at motivation.
It does, and for good reason. We live in a culture that worships motivation.
We do.
We watch hike videos, we listen to upbeat music, we scroll through inspirational quotes on Instagram. We wait to feel like doing the work.
I am definitely guilty of this. I wait for inspiration to strike before I start a creative project, or I wait until I feel energetic to go for a run.
And how often does that feeling come?
About once a month, if I'm lucky.
And Hardy argues that relying on motivation is a recipe for failure. Motivation is an emotion. It is fickle. It comes and goes like the weather. If you only work when you are motivated, you will never be consistent enough to get the compound effect to kick in. You'll have a great Monday and a terrible Tuesday, and your graph will look like a jagged mess, not a smooth curve.
So what beats motivation? If I can't rely on getting pumped up, what do I rely on?
Discipline and habits. The source argues for systems over goals.
Distance over goals.
Goal is, I want to run a marathon. A system is, I run for 30 minutes every morning at 6 a.m., regardless of how I feel.
The system removes the decision-making process. You don't wake up and ask, do I feel like running?
No.
You just run because it's 6 a.m. and that's what you do.
Yes. It automates success. And this brings us to one of the most important takeaways from the book, one that I think people really need to hear, even though they won't like it. Success is boring.
Put that on a bumper sticker. Success is boring. It's not exactly a Hollywood slogan.
It isn't. We expect a movie montage. You know the Rocky montage where he drinks the eggs, punches the meat, runs up the stairs, the music swells, and suddenly he's a champion.
Right.
That montage skips the years of boring, repetitive training. It compresses 10 years into 3 minutes.
Right. In the movie, the training looks cool. In real life, it looks like sweat and monotony.
True success is doing the same mundane things over and over and over again. It is eating the steamed vegetables when you want the pizza. It is making the prospect calls when you want to check TikTok. It is checking the spreadsheet when you want to watch Netflix. It is not a montage. It is just Tuesday.
And then Wednesday.
And then Wednesday. And then Thursday.
But that's the secret, isn't it? The people who win are the ones who can handle the boredom. They don't need to be entertained by their own work.
Precisely. There are no hacks. There is just repetition. But here is the silver lining, which the book calls the confidence loop. Because doing boring things sounds draining, right?
It sounds soul-crushing, to be honest.
But it's not. When you do the right thing repeatedly, even when it's boring, something happens to your psychology. You start to trust yourself. If you say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and you do it for 30 days in a row, you build a reputation with yourself. Consistency creates confidence.
That's really powerful. It's not just about the result of the workout. It's about proving to yourself that you're the kind of person who keeps promises to themselves.
Yes. And that self-belief fuels further action. It becomes a positive feedback loop. You start to see yourself as disciplined, so you act more disciplined, which makes you more successful, which makes you more confident. You stop needing the hype video because you have the track record.
Okay, but let's get practical. The listener is thinking, all right, I get it. I want to be boring and successful, but I have bad habits. I'm messy. I procrastinate. I eat junk. How do I actually do it? This leads us to section 4. The tactical toolkit.
Yes.
The source material highlights 2 big levers we can pull: measurement and environment.
Let's start with measurement. There is a classic management adage, what gets measured gets improved. Hardy is obsessed with tracking.
He suggests tracking everything, right? Not just the big stuff.
Everything relevant to your goal. If you want to save money, you track every penny. If you want to lose weight, you track every calorie. If you want to be more productive, you track every minute of your day.
Now, I can hear the listener groaning. This sounds like so much work. I don't want to carry around a notebook. I don't want to log my coffee.
It is work, but it is necessary work. Why?
Why?
Because, as we established in section 1, we are terrible at assessing our own behavior. We are mindless. We drift through the day on autopilot.
We lie to ourselves. We have selective amnesia about that donut we ate at 10 a.m.
We do. We say, I hardly ever eat sugar, but if you wrote down everything you put in your mouth for a week, you might be shocked to see a soda here, a cookie there, sugar in your coffee 3 times a day.
Right.
Tracking forces awareness. It turns the lights on in a dark room. You can't change what you aren't aware of.
I've actually tried this with my spending before. I thought it was pretty frugal. Then I tracked my small purchases, coffee, snacks, app subscriptions, and it was hundreds of dollars a month. It was a wake-up call. I didn't even realize I was doing it. It was just habit.
That is the power of the checklist or the tracker. It breaks the delusion. Once you see the data, you can make an informed choice. It moves the behavior from the subconscious to the conscious. You have to look at the paper and say, do I really want to spend this $5? And often the answer is no.
Okay, so step one is track everything. Shine the light on the habits. What about environment design? This is one of my favorite topics because it feels like a cheat code.
It essentially is. This connects to the idea that willpower is a limited resource. Think of willpower like a battery on your phone. You start the day at 100%. Every time you have to resist a temptation, you drain the battery.
Resisting the donut at the office meeting drain, resisting checking my phone during deep work drain, resisting snapping at a coworker drain.
Exactly. And by 6:00 p.m., your battery is dead. That is why most people break their diets in the evening. They have no willpower left to fight the cravings.
Makes sense.
Hardy argues that you shouldn't rely on willpower. You should rely on your environment.
So change the surroundings so you don't have to use willpower.
Correct. If you want to stop eating junk food, do not have it in the house. If it's not there, you don't have to use willpower to resist it. You would have to get in the car and drive to the store to get it. That is adding friction.
Friction is key here. We want to increase friction for bad habits and reduce friction for good habits.
Yes. If you want to run in the morning, sleep in your gym clothes, or put your shoes right next to the bed so you trip over them. That reduces friction. If you watch too much TV, Hardy suggests taking the batteries out of the remote, or go extreme. Unplug the TV and put it in the closet.
That sounds extreme, putting the TV in the closet.
It sounds extreme, but if you are addicted to Netflix and it's destroying your productivity, you need an extreme shift. If the TV is in the closet, you have to physically get it out, plug it in, and wait for it to boot up. You will only do that if you really want to watch a specific show. You won't do it just to mindlessly channel surf. You are designing an environment that supports the person you want to become rather than fighting against an environment that triggers your bad habits.
So here's a challenge for you listening right now. Look around the room you are in. What is one thing in your environment right now that is triggering a bad habit? Is it the notifications on your phone? Is it the snack bowl on the counter? Is it the messy desk? Identify it and change the environment.
It's a simple change that saves a massive amount of mental energy. You stop fighting yourself and start flowing with your environment.
Now, we need to talk about the darker side of this force. Section 5, the double-edged sword. Because the compound effect isn't just a force for good, is it?
No. It is a neutral principle, like gravity. Gravity doesn't care if it's keeping you grounded on the earth or pulling you off a cliff. It just pulls.
Right.
The compound effect doesn't care if your habits are good or bad. It will compound them regardless.
This is negative compounding. And honestly, this is terrifying.
It should be. Just as small positive actions create massive success over time, small negative actions create massive destruction.
We go back to the burger example. One burger doesn't kill you, but a burger every day for 10 years.
That compounds into high cholesterol, which becomes heart disease, which leads to lethargy. The lethargy makes you less productive at work, which might lead to missed promotions or job loss.
Wow.
The financial stress causes arguments with your spouse. The stress leads to more eating. It spirals.
It's a ripple effect. One bad habit bleeds into everything else.
And like the positive curve, it happens so slowly, you don't notice the decline until it's a crisis. You don't realize your marriage is failing until the divorce papers are served. You don't realize your health is gone until the doctor gives you the diagnosis.
That's the drift. Hardy talks about people drifting through life.
Exactly. No one destroys their life on purpose. No one wakes up and says, I plan to be bankrupt, divorced, and unhealthy by 50. They just drift there, one small bad choice at a time, repeated daily.
They sleepwalk into disaster.
That's a great way to put it.
But let's look at the positive side again, because I want to talk about the payoff. We've talked about the valley of death, where results are invisible. We've talked about the grind. But what happens when you push through that? What happens when you survive the drift?
You hit the momentum phase. Hardy calls it Big Mo.
Big Mo.
This is the hockey stick curve we talked about earlier.
Describe that sensation for us. How does it feel when momentum kicks in?
Imagine a steam train or an old school playground merry-go-round. Pushing a merry-go-round at first is incredibly hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's heavy metal. It has inertia. You're sweating, you're grunting, you're pushing with all your might, and it's barely inching forward. You are putting in 100% effort for 1% results.
That's the first month of the diet.
Yeah.
That's the first month of the business. You feel like you're dying and getting nowhere.
Exactly. But you keep pushing. Slowly, it picks up speed, the inertia breaks, eventually it's spinning, and once it's spinning fast, you can keep it spinning with just a light tap every now and then.
That's momentum.
That is momentum. The hardest part of the rocket launch is the first few miles. It takes almost all the fuel just to get off the ground, but once it's in orbit, it glides.
That's the goal.
Yep.
We want to get to the point where our good habits are gliding, where it's actually harder to stop than to keep going.
And that is what success looks like to the outside world. They see the glider, they don't see the launch, they say, wow, look how easy it is for them, look how naturally fit they are.
Right.
No, they were building the foundation for 5 years. The explosion is just the momentum kicking in.
And this is why consistency is non-negotiable. If you stop the merry-go-round,
You lose the momentum, it slows down, and eventually it stops. And to get it going again, you have to do the heavy pushing all over again. That is why stopping and starting the yo-yo effect is so exhausting. It takes 10 times more energy to start than to maintain.
So rule number 1, don't kill Big Mo.
Never kill Big Mo. When you are on a roll, keep rolling. Don't take a break just because things are going well. That's when you double down.
Okay, we've covered a massive amount of ground. We've looked at the math, the responsibility, the habits, the tracking, and the momentum. Now in section 6, let's do a little critical review. We always like to look at the sources with a clear eye. The source material rates this book highly, a 4.5 out of 5. Why not a perfect score? What are the critiques?
Well, a common critique is that it can feel repetitive.
Because he keeps hammering the same point.
Yes. He says, small steps plus consistency in about 50 different ways. He uses different stories, different metaphors, but the core message never changes.
But as we discussed, isn't that kind of the point?
Precisely. The truth is repetitive. The author isn't trying to entertain you with new tricks. He's trying to drill a fundamental principle into your head. He knows we have thick skulls. He knows we will get bored and look for a shiny object, so he keeps bringing us back to the center.
So the repetition is a feature, not a bug. It's brainwashing, but in a good way.
In a way, yes. Another critique is that it's not deeply scientific.
Okay.
It's not an academic paper filled with double-blind studies and neuroscience charts. It is anecdotal and practical. It's based on Hardy's experience as the publisher of Success magazine, interviewing thousands of successful people like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Richard Branson.
So if you're looking for hard data and chemical formulas, this might feel a little light.
It might. It's more of a philosophy of operation than a scientific textbook. And finally, the biggest barrier is that it requires patience.
Ah, yes. Patience.
In our fast-paced, TikTok, one-click buy, on-demand world, selling patience is a very hard sell.
Buy this book and get rich in 10 years. Not exactly a clickbait headline.
No, it's the anti-clickbait. But it is the truth. And deep down, I think we all know it's the truth. We know the shortcuts don't work, which is why we keep buying new ones.
So who is this for? Who needs to read The Compound Effect?
I would say anyone who feels stuck in the gap between knowing and doing.
That's a lot of us. We know we should eat better.
Yeah.
We know we should work harder. We know the strategy. We just don't do it.
Exactly. If you have a shelf full of self-help books, but your life hasn't changed, you need this. It's not about learning what to do anymore. It's about learning how to do it consistently. Students, entrepreneurs, content creators, professionals, anyone who has a goal but feels like they are running on a hamster wheel. If you feel like you are working hard but not moving forward, you are likely trapped in the insignificant decision phase. This deep dive is for you. It's for the person ready to stop looking for the magic bullet and start doing the boring work.
So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for the listener today?
It means that you already have the answer. That's the good news and the bad news. You don't need more information. You don't need a new strategy. You don't need a better app. You need to look at your daily inputs.
Let's recap the journey we've been on.
Success is not an event. It is a process. Small choices plus consistency plus time. Radical difference.
Right.
You have to take 100% responsibility for your life, no excuses. You have to embrace the boredom of consistency over the sugar rush of motivation. You need to track your behaviors to gain awareness and design your environment to support your goals.
And if you do that, eventually momentum takes over.
And that is when the magic actually happens. That is when you become the overnight success. That is when the penny turns into $10 million.
I want to leave everyone with a thought to mull over. We talked about the trajectory earlier. The idea that you are heading somewhere right now based on your daily actions.
Yes, you are always becoming something. Every day is a vote for the person you are going to be.
So here is the question. If every tiny decision you made today, what you ate, what you watched, how you spoke to your partner, how you spent your money, if every single one of those choices was compounded and repeated every single day for the next 10 years, would you be thrilled with the person you arrive as, or would you be terrified of them?
That is a profound question. Because you are becoming that person. The trajectory is set today, not tomorrow, today.
You are. The compound effect is always working. You just get to decide if it's working for you or against you.
Choose wisely.
Thanks for diving in with us. Do one small positive thing right now. Put down the phone, drink a glass of water, write one sentence, start the ripple. We'll see you in the next deep dive.